I only opened the laptop because the light wouldn't stop blinking. I hadn't used it in months. It was old, too slow for work, too unreliable to trust. I kept it mostly for nostalgia, stored photos, old essays, scraps of college. It was buried in a drawer under a stack of cables and half-dead hard drives. But that night, the little green light blinked from under the wood, steady as a heartbeat. I plugged it in, waited for the screen to flicker to life. No password, just the desktop. And there it was, a folder I didn't remember, called me backup. The icon didn't match the others. No default folder look, just solid black. I hovered over it. No creation date. No properties. I opened it anyway. Inside, dozens of files. Most of them were video, all named like journal entries. OG 2203, Nov 19 persona test, Jan 01 again. I clicked on the first one, and there I was, sitting in the same chair I was in now, wearing a sweater I don't own, talking softly like I didn't want to wake someone in the next room. If you're watching this, the other me said, then we're out of sync. I paused the video, checked the file info. No metadata, nothing. It didn't make sense. I'd never recorded that. I'd never worn that sweater, and behind her me was a poster I'd never hung. A city skyline, lit by stars I didn't recognize. I played another. A birthday, candles, laughter, my voice singing alone. But I've never celebrated birthdays that way, not since I was a child, not like this. I clicked a third video. Me looked into the camera and said, "Don't worry, this one forgets the slowest." Then she smiled, not at the lens, at something just off screen. I turned my head reflexively. But I was alone, still alone, I think. I watched them all that night, couldn't stop. Each video was a version of me, but not quite. Some were off by just a few details, a different hairstyle, a book I'd never read, a voice that cracked on the wrong syllable. Others were strangers in my skin. One of them smiled too wide. Another never blinked. The most disturbing ones were the quiet clips. 5, 10, even 20 minutes of me just staring into the camera, not speaking, barely breathing, like the recording wasn't meant for sound, just presence. A digital haunting. But what chilled me more were the files that weren't video. There were text documents too, dozens of them. Some were journal entries, some were transcripts. One of them was a grocery list with a date 3 weeks in the future, and every item on it was something I never eat. But the handwriting, it was mine, slightly neater, more deliberate, like me, but trying harder. And then there were the audio files. I only had to hear one. It started with breathing, then static, then my voice. "She's not deleting them anymore," it said. "We're too close." The voice was mine, but the tone terrified, urgent, was something I'd never heard from myself. Another file was just 5 seconds long. "Stop checking the timestamps. That's how it gets in." Then nothing. I unplugged the laptop, closed the lid, hid it under the bed. But that didn't help. That night, I heard the fan spinning even though it was off. And my phone, offline, face down, buzzed once at exactly 3:12 a.m. I checked it. One new photo, taken seconds ago, of me sleeping from the foot of my bed. The next day, the folder was gone. I searched every directory, ran file recovery. Nothing, but the videos wouldn't leave me. I saw scenes from them playing in my dreams. The version of me in the red coat stood under a bridge I've never crossed, whispering numbers I can't remember by morning. The silent ones, those who stared, started appearing in reflections. Not mirrors, surfaces, screens, my phone when it rebooted, the dark gloss of my microwave. One of them blinked. I didn't. I started finding new files, but in different places. On my external drive, on the family tablet, a folder named To Be Me. Inside, a single video, time-stamped for tomorrow. I didn't open it, not right away, but it autoplayed. The other me looked tired, grayer. She leaned close to the camera. It chooses the one who watches first, she said. I made the mistake. Now I'm the echo. Please don't let it pick again. Then she started deleting herself frame by frame, her face pixelating, her voice fracturing. But just before the screen went black, she whispered, "You're the last one who hasn't recorded." And then the camera turned, and I saw my own back. I turned around in real life instantly, but there was no one there, just the screen, frozen, showing an empty chair, still rocking gently. Now every screen is a window. I avoid them, but they find me. Even powered off, they glow faintly when I walk past. I hear fragments of myself in other rooms. Laughter I never let out. Breathing I didn't allow. I smashed the laptop, burned the hard drive. But when I turned on my work computer this morning, the folder was there. Me backup, one new file, today final. I haven't opened it, but I already know what's inside. I've started speaking out loud again, just in case, like leaving footprints in fresh snow. Something to prove I'm still here, still the origin, still the first, but I can feel it, something pulling, not to erase me, to overwrite. Leave the backup running the system. I'm scared to fall asleep, not because of dreams, but because I think that's when they record, when you're quiet, when you've forgotten who you were for just long enough to be rewritten. I leave the windows open now. Write only on paper, avoid reflections. But even then, I woke this morning to a sticky note on the mirror. Not my handwriting, but signed with my name. Recording complete. You may rest now. And for the first time, my reflection didn't copy my movements. It smiled first, then waited. I blinked. It didn't. I stepped away. It stepped forward. Now, it's the one behind the screen. And I'm afraid maybe that's what I've always been.